Well, hello there, YouTube. And once again, Robert Summers here. Welcome to this channel. We thank God for you. Those of you that have subscribed, shared this channel, shared videos with other people, support the ministry. Powerful. And we're just amazed at how many people have followed, as well as sent in numerous testimonies, praise reports, just saying how what we've been releasing has helped in many facets of society. And of course, specifically, we're talking on the Jezebelian narcissistic personality type, that Jezebelian spirit that operates in people. I will, as we talk today, and by the way, what we're going to talk about today, last video, we started talking about having an escape plan from, to get away from the narcissist. And we talked specifically in the first video of this series on a narcissist or a narcissistic relationship that is violent. It is physically abusive, as well as, of course, the emotional and mental components that go with it. But we were talking about how to leave, how to get physically away from the narcissist. Now, I want to be real clear here. I do not believe, based on my research and based on the years of counseling people, working with people, that simply because you left a narcissist, that you're going to be healed, delivered, set free. There is a tremendous amount post-departure of healing and recovery that you have to go through. It is a journey, and it takes time, okay? Some people, I've known people, it's unbelievable, but I've known people that have broken away from a narcissistic relationship only to immediately not go through any recovery, any healing, any therapy, any type of deliverance, and they begin to engage in other relationships. Well, they're highly susceptible to another narcissist or a person that is a Jezebel to come in and lure them right back into that trap. So we encourage deliverance, healing, wholeness. We encourage coaching, counseling, and that's something that we do here at this ministry. So, but what we're talking about today is, okay, so again, we're still on the physical component where someone is physically abusive, they're violent, and you need to get out of that situation. Down the road, we'll talk about the non-violent type of narcissist, how you escape from that. But again, we want to take our time in this, so you're going to have to watch a lot of different videos and so on and study this thing through. Please study this thing through. Do research. There are people, they'll watch one of our videos and they'll say something, you're wrong, whatever. Well, you're not getting the complete package. You heard one small component. Like I said, this is a big thing. So, but what we're talking about today is, all right, so when should you call the police? When should you have the police involved in a situation where it is physical and it's violent, or at least a threat of violence? And that's something that you need to lay out. You need to really kind of think about that and say, okay, what are the circumstances? What will be the situation that will warrant you calling to police? Okay. Whether it's the next time you're assaulted, I don't necessarily recommend that, or when he trespass against you or trespass against the property, whatever it may be, whatever that line is, okay, if it could just be a verbal threat, okay, it could be an intimidating tone, whatever it is, at what point will you call the police? So there are times that I really believe the police need to be called and they need to come into the situation because, again, this is about protecting your life as well as protecting the lives of your children, should you have those, okay? So to get the most effective response from police, okay, and working with police, let me give you some pointers in how to deal with that. And I know police, we have police in the family, okay, and we've studied this thing through. We understand it. So we're not just grabbing things out of the air here. Okay, this is good advice to you. Number one, you need to remain as calm as possible. Nothing is worse than being, and I know it's hard. I understand that's hard, but you need to be as calm as possible that when you call the police, you're not so upset that you can't talk, so upset that you're retaliating verbally and so on. You won't sit down. You can't be restrained at all. You have to maintain some level of composure. You need to be as calm as you possibly can. I understand the situation can warrant a lot of emotions and what have you, but be as calm as you possibly can, okay? When contacting police, do not be afraid when you talk to police to ask them to make a report. Just because the police come out to your house doesn't always mean that they will make a report. You ask them, just say, can you please make or file a report pertaining to the situation that has occurred, whatever that may have been. Give the police the details of the assault, of the threat, okay, the whether it was something physical, okay, grabbing, scratching, biting, throwing an object at a person, okay, in this case you. The narcissist threw something at you. They got up all in your face. They were very intimidating. They threatened you, said words such as, I will terminate you, I will kill you, I will, whatever, beat you up or whatever it may be. Those are all verbal threats, and you have to take those things serious from a abusive narcissist, okay, physically abusive narcissist. So again, give the police all the details. You want to, of course, show them. You want to show them any type of injuries, physical injuries that happen, such as bruises, cuts, marks, scars, whatever it may be. Any property that's been damaged, if there's been stuff thrown, things have been broken, holes in the wall, punches. Again, to both your home, your car, any of your property, you want to make sure that you take pictures of that you have that well documented. And any other type of advice, evidence that you have pertaining to the assault. I recommend taking a cell phone, take pictures of any injury, any mark, any bruises, anything like that. You want to take pictures of property damage should, let's say the narcissistic or the narcissist, damaged your property, whatever it may be, broke your phone, slammed your phone down, find some other device, do whatever you have to do, take a picture of that. If they stole something from you and then tore it up and gave it back to you, take a picture of that. Another thing you want to do is you want to go to the doctor. Go to the doctor as soon as possible, okay? That's critically important. I've dealt with this for years, dealt with it over 30 years ago, and had situations where I had to go to the hospital because something happened and whatever. You want to make certain that you have some type of documentation that you went to the doctor, you went to the clinic, you got checked out in that situation. Another thing you want to do is keep a journal. Keep a journal of all the incidents that took place. You want to have the dates, the times if you can, but you certainly want to have the dates. Any witnesses, people that have witnessed the narcissistic abuser threatening you, they heard it. If you have text messages where there's intimidating verbiage in your text message, emails, whatever it may be, you want to capture that. You want to document it just on a piece of paper as well. What date it occurred, what was the situation, what was the incident. You got threatened, you got strangled, you got choked, you got pulled on, tugged on, the children, whatever happens there. You must, listen to me, you must document every single incident that took place. And you want to have some narrative in there as to what were the circumstances and situations leading up to that, okay? Perhaps you went out to a friend's house, and when you got back, all of a sudden the narc jumps on you, begins to threaten you, grab you, whatever it may have been. You want to include that in your documentation, okay? You want to, when you talk to the police, you want to have all that ready. You want to tell them of all of the previous incidences, and of course, at that point, you can pull out your journal and say, here, I have all of this documented, okay? If you have any court documents, no contact type documents, restraining orders, anything from the courts or even prior police reports, you get a copy of all that stuff. You want to make certain that you have that with you. You want to have that in your book or, whatever however you save your stuff. It could be a cell phone, it could be an iPad or something. You want to make certain that you have as much evidence, as much of a case, a documentation case, as it were, where you can easily show them these things. So court documents. When you talk to the police, you want to ask them about perhaps some community resources that may be available to you. Shelters, ministries, community services, counselors, any type of advocacy groups that you can talk to, get counseling, maybe a shelter you can go to on a temporary basis, whatever. Once you file the report with the police, please make certain you get a case number. Very, very important. Get a case number. You're asking the police to file a report. There's going to be a case number. You need that number. You don't necessarily have to save everything they said. You just want that case number, because once you have that, they'll go back into the officer's report and they can easily pull that up. Very, very simple. Okay, so you want to get the case number of the report. You want to get the officer's name. You don't have to worry so much about the badge number. Just get the officer's name in that particular municipality or community. You want to know who you're talking to. Most police carry cards, business cards, and you can just ask them, and they'll typically be more than happy to give you one. So this way you have a phone number. If it's something that happens again, let's just say you don't leave, okay, and it happens again, you want to call that officer. You'll have his card or her card. You want to call that officer if possible. If not, any officer will do. Now, the reason I gave you those steps is because it's basically what you're doing here is you are documenting proof or evidence. Should something, perhaps lethal happen, or semi-lethal, okay, you want to make certain that there is a documented case here. If it got real ugly, let's just say let's say there's tugging. Let's say there's threatening tones or a voice. There's threats, verbal threats. You want to go through all this. You want to document all that stuff, because then if something happens, okay, the biggest thing that you have for you is that you have it documented. You have all of your ducks in a row. Because if you don't do this, if you do not follow through, if you just kind of skate this thing under the rug and say, oh, he'll be okay, I'm just going to go ahead and pray, God will change him. No, you've got to document this stuff, and you have to follow through on stuff, okay? If you don't follow through, then what you are doing is you are becoming an enabler. You are enabling the narcissist to continue in his or her, could be a her, behavior. And therefore, the system, as it were, is not going to be able to help you. You want the system to help you. Remember, in most cases, it becomes he said, she said, or it's his word against her word. Remember, the police, when they come, they don't know what's going on. They don't know what's happening. Okay, they don't live in your house. They don't know all the stuff going on. So you can't just say, well, this happened, that happened, whatever. They don't know. But if you have documentation, if you do what I explained for you to do, then you'll have something should they come to your home or whatever. Now you have, something that's a little bit more convincing than simply your word against that person's word. Because you and I both know the narcissist will twist, manipulate, and wrangle everything you say and turn it out to be your fault and that you did something. And therefore, like I said, you don't want to go down that path. You want to have your documentation, okay? Don't feel as if you were there. There's going to be a lot of pressure on you spiritually as well as emotionally. A lot of pressure that says, well, if I call the police, that somehow I'm betraying him, or I'm betraying him just by keeping any type of documentation. Remember, this is about protecting you and your children. Listen to me. Read my lips. The violence must stop. The violence must stop. Say it one more time. The violence must stop. You cannot enable it, because if it starts here, it's going to end up there. Okay? A little leaven leavens the whole lump. It's the small fox that spoils the vine. Okay? So you don't want to. The first sign of it, I'm trying to help you. The first sign of it, you have to deal with it. Okay? Start your documentation. Start, checking resources. Start your exit plan. Start your strategy to get out of there. Violence should never occur. No one should ever go through physical, abusive violence from anyone, specifically a narcissist. Okay. Now, a lot of people say, well, will the police make the arrest? Well, just because you call the police doesn't always mean they're going to make an arrest. Okay. There has to be a reason for police. They don't just go around and arresting people because you said, I want them arrested. That's not how it works. Okay. Doesn't matter what you said happened. Again, that's why you have to have your documentation. That's why you need to take pictures. That's why you need to have some type of case. Okay. For police to arrest the abusive narcissist, there has to be probable cause. There has to be some belief that they feel is that a crime was committed and that there was injury to a person. Okay. So if you say, well, he threatened me, they're probably not going to take the husband out, or the narcissist out, I should say, out of the home. You do want that documented. You do want that documented. You go to the police station and document that. Okay. You want to journal it. Okay. Journal all that stuff. Okay. But just because you said something, he threatened me. Again, they weren't there. There's, unless there's some evidence, maybe, and that there's some people that heard it, by and large, there's not going to be an arrest. But if there's specific injury, he grabbed you, he held you down, he choked you, he punched you, he slapped you, whatever, then that is called probable cause. And basically that probable cause means that there's some evidence that a crime took place. Okay? Could be a bloody nose, could be a mark, could be a cut. It's basically an obvious injury that occurred. Okay? But they typically won't make arrests. Now they'll make arrests unless if there's a warrant out for that person, clearly they're going to make arrests like that. Okay? If there was a weapon involved, bat, knife, whatever it may be, some type of weapon, then yeah, they're going to make an arrest. Okay. If and that's what you call something very, very serious, and it's a serious assault, that's an immediate arrest. Of course, in discussions, when you call the police, sometimes these things escalate. If the narcissist begins to become very violent or threatening to the officers, they will basically take that person away, especially if that person attacks you or them while they're there. If you're attacked and the officers there, they're gone. If they attack the officers, they're gone. Okay. So here's the thing. Now, lastly, what if you call and the police don't respond? Okay, they're non-responsive. What you want to do is you do want to get out of the house immediately and get to a safe place. That's the first and foremost. I think a lot of times people they wait for it's like the police are going to show up. Well, police have a lot going on. There's only so many police in our communities. And again, police don't prevent crimes from happening. They're typically responsive. They're not proactive. Okay, it's not even their job. But here's the thing: if they don't arrive in time or they don't respond in time, what do? Get out the house, and then again call the police department again. Okay, continue to call the police, call 911, and just let them know that you're trying to get an officer out there. Okay, hey, listen, I hope this helps you. I hope this helps somebody. Again, this is when you should call the police when there's an abusive situation from a narcissist. This is video 2. We'll come out with more videos on this, and you can listen to them and see what, if anything, helps you. I believe there's something there to help you. All right. God bless you all. Thank you, and have a great day. Bye-bye.